Here we go.
Yeah.
Yay! Oh, there you
Good morning.
Morning.
You have to pass by the cookies first.
Good morning.
Yep.
Oh, cookies. I have to leave early, so don't.
Then you better get
take
cookies
that
on your way
bad.
out.
Don't take that as a bad thing.
Good to see you.
Even it won't be because I said something ridiculous or,
Right, finance.
I mean, it's possible too. Well, should we start on time or would that be, wait a minute. Should we start on time? Okay, Lord, thank you for this morning. Thank you for the chance to be here. Thank you for the ability to be here today. And for all these things that Matthew presents us at a crucial time in Jesus' ministry when it's like it goes from medium heat to high heat and we move forward into the future we all occupy today. Bless us this day, keep our eyes and hearts open as we hear your word and learn. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Keep looking up.
Keep looking up, yeah. I never write down where he ends each section.
Yeah, see, I did that last night.
Thank
It
you.
goes until 12.
12, it's a long.
So, who would ever like to read? See, that's why he broke it into two. Wait a minute. Let's go against that, and let's just do that first little section. First 4 verses. Who wants to read that?
I can do that.
Okey-doke.
Then the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and testing him asked that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said to them, "When it is evening, you say, 'It will be fair weather, for the sky is red.' And in the morning, 'It will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and threatening.' Hypocrites, you know how to discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah." And he left them and departed.
Okay.
So we're talking about this in the car. It's like, even the people today, they'll put more stock in the weather report than they will the word of the Bible. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's basically saying you need to see it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not understanding what's really going on here. You need to see the sign, and the sign won't be given to you.
That's true.
Because Jesus brought a new covenant, and they're not getting it.
Yeah.
Morning.
There's something else here that hit me about this too, though.
Cookies.
We all, it's like we all knew that red sky at night, sailors alive, red.
Yep.
How come we all know that? How come we all will even quote it? How come we will?
Because we've heard it for years.
Because we've heard it before,
Somebody told us
because
that.
it's acceptable,
Yes.
because it's it's uncontested.
Yes.
We'll pass along what everybody accepts, as general knowledge. What Jesus is doing runs contrary to that. It runs contrary to what common sense and everybody is used to saying.
Right.
And you think earlier later on when he's going to be talking about with Peter and who are you, and this whole thing about what does it mean to be Messiah. If you were going to go by the messianic, this is a strange connection in my head. I hope it makes for everybody else. But if you have the messianic answer to what will the Messiah look like, you're going to get a red sky at night, sailor's delight kind of answer. You're going to get the answer that everybody has already come up with and nobody's afraid to say.
Right.
And I think that's what's really neat about this thing. This starts this whole chapter when they have to change everything. I mean, and this stuff's been stewing in them, all this time through his ministry. They've been seeing things they hadn't seen before, but all of a sudden, he's going to say, the weather is not what you think it is. Oh, I just thought that was really kind of.
And when I see the red sky at night, sailors,
Yeah.
it's more red being angry.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Because I've seen some gorgeous the sun rises, and of course the sun sets with the water red's out in great conditions, you know. But when the sky is that red angry, then yeah, you better,
There's a front coming in.
you better change your plans.
So, oh, sorry.
Bonnie, let's go bowling tomorrow. What do you say, Bonnie?
So, accept the sign of the prophet Jonah.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Jonah, I'll ask you a question, you'll be able to answer it, I bet you can. Jonah was swallowed by the fish.
Right.
How long was Jonah in the fish?
3 days.
3 days. And then he gets spit out. The thing is that he appears to be dead
Right.
for 3 days, and then he comes up. And people won't get what he's saying is that they're not going to figure out anything until they've seen that one unarguable definitive proof. Only it's worse than a whale.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus is verified dead. They just saw him. Jonah
Right.
was swallowed.
Okay.
I think, would you say,
That
Reverend,
makes sense.
that that's a good acceptable? I caught you reading, didn't I?
I was reading ahead, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I looked it up yesterday because I wasn't sure. It's definitely, because I'm like, oh, they're gonna ask.
It's the 3
They're
days
gonna
thing,
ask.
right?
It's the 3 days thing.
Right.
Yeah.
An important word, well, at least in our Bible, this is the New King James, but it says, hypocrites, you know how to discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the time.
Mhm.
And that's when he goes into talks about that, because this is what's really happening.
Yeah.
You're not getting it. You got your feet stuck in the mud with yesterday.
By the way,
And
it says
correlate
exactly
that.
the same thing in the NIV.
Okay, I wasn't sure, because sometimes the words are different.
Yeah, they are.
I didn't correlate that 3 days, so thank you.
Yeah.
for
Oh,
that.
no
Yeah,
problem.
thank you.
It's easy. I know. You know how this is goofy because like I didn't have anything to do with church till I was 21, really, and I kept thinking that it had to do with fish. You know, fish.
Oh, right, right.
Or ichthus. And that sounds fishy to me.
Oh, ba-dum-bum.
I thought this had more to do with the way the world was at the time of Jonah, which was,
Corrupt.
yeah,
And how's
adulterous and
different?
that kind of
No,
thing.
which is-
And so then I was thinking, okay, so would the Sadducees have known that? You know, obviously they would have known that because they know the Old Testament. Right?
There's something
But the 3
interesting
days.
too about Jonah. That by the way, I love the book Jonah.
I love
I
Jonah.
love it. It's just, and it's a book about hatred.
Yeah.
The hatred
Yes.
Jonah has for the people of Nineveh.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with being afraid of going to Nineveh. He didn't want to give them a fighting chance. I mean, it's all of it. But then God's incredible mercy and love, way beyond what everybody expects. That's really great. But what I thought was really great is Jonah with all this false that show up again at the end of the book. He's back to his bitter little Benedict. At least for a few days. Boy, he's one heck of a preacher. Because he converts a whole city.
Yes.
Well, they were ready. It wasn't that he was a great preacher in
Yeah,
my mind.
their
It was
hearts were
because
ready.
they were ready. God
Well,
had
he
prepared
was-
their hearts.
He was also strong in his will, because his will told him, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
God's like, you're not getting this. You're gonna go. And so, here's a little lesson.
Here's
a
a
little trial.
Here's a baseball analogy.
Yeah,
You know what
you-
determines how fast that ball leaves the bat? Is how fast it was coming at the bat in the first place.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's like it's the reverse of energy. It's it's kind of good.
Nice.
Yeah.
We love baseball.
Beavers were 3-1 this weekend. I remember pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But there's a lot of okay. The next section goes through verse
12.
12. Please, somebody read.
I got it. When the disciples crossed over the lake, they forgot to bring any bread. Watch out, said Jesus to them, and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. They discussed it with each other. It's because we didn't bring any bread, they said. But Jesus knew what they were thinking. You really are a little faith lot, he said. Why are you discussing with each other that you haven't got any bread? Don't you understand even now? Don't you remember the 5 loaves and the 5,000, and how many basketfuls you picked up afterwards? Or the 7 loaves and the 4,000, and how many baskets you picked up? Why can't you see that I wasn't talking about bread? Watch out for the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees. Then they understood that he wasn't telling them to beware of the leaven you get in bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees.
Great. There's a whole lot to unpack there.
Well, I think what he's talking about is, leavened bread is without yeast. And yeast is like, it's almost like a cancer, it starts small, like the false doctrines. It appears small and insignificant, but it grows and spreads and permeates. And the only remedy is to remove it. And that's what he's talking about. They were talking about the bread, and he's like, I'm not talking about bread, I'm talking about what's in the bread, like what's in the word, what's in their words.
I like, my favorite word you said was word permeate. It does go through. But the reason that he's talking about the leaven really, I think, has more to do with tradition than anything else. On the night of the Passover, the reason we eat unleavened bread, what does leaven do? Leaven is like yeast or baking soda.
Right.
It's what causes it to rise.
Right.
It makes it more palatable, more filling, more fun. You wonder, do bagels have leaven in them? Because they don't seem to rise very much. I'm sure,
I'm sure they do, they're right.
yeah, very little bit, but they're like those little bread balls you used to make when your kid take off all the crust and squish that thing down to the size of a marble and chew it. I just love to do that. Anyway, I digress. No, but the thing is here that there's something about that when you don't put much leaven into it, but it affects everything about it. Cancer's a good analogy. It's a great analogy. It kind of infects everything. But I want to go back. What has that got to do with forgetting the bread and the Pharisees? Right. And so they get to the other side and they are hungry. They've got to take the bread. What's their response? What's their response to realizing they forgot to take the bread?
He's talking about the bread.
Well, that's true.
Right.
But I'm talking about the bread, like the Wonder or whatever, or Dave's Killer.
Well, they're talking about the physical thing.
Yeah.
And he's not talking about the
He's
physical.
not
Yeah.
talking about that.
That's true. But what's their response to the physical bread?
We don't have
They
it.
forgot it. They forgot all about the feeding of
And
the
so they're kind
5,000.
of stuck and they don't see the, how to take care of the problem.
They're worried about it.
Well, they're worried
They
about
are
it,
worried about it.
but they forgot. They forgot that
We just fed
Jesus, when
4,000
they're hungry,
people.
Jesus can provide. And they just kind of dismissed it. We forgot to bring it.
If
Don't worry about it.
If Deb and I were in the car going in place, and all of a sudden we realize there's something not with us that is supposed to be with us, what's the first subject comes up? Well, you forgot that. No, you forgot that. You forgot that. I mean, it's all this. Whose fault is it? The point is, we got money. It's not that essential. We could get more. Where are we going? Why are we going? What are we doing? Those are the things that are far more important. The who forgot the bread
Right.
is small potatoes. And Jesus says this isn't a camping trip where we bring everything that we need. It's an expedition. Now, who would be worried about, did you do everything just right? Was everything prepared? Are you ready?
Martha.
That's a pharisaical kind of thing.
Well, anytime any of us travel, what's the first 20 minutes or half hour of the trip do? It's the anxiety of what we didn't bring.
Yeah.
It's like they're stuck, again, they're stuck in the past and he's trying to get them to catch up.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's a
I'm
part
missing
of
the
it.
point.
But Christ is saying, ye of little faith. I mean, don't you remember when they were at the other place?
Yeah.
Which is what would he have done if they said, hey, Jesus, we forgot the bread. What are you going to do about it?
What?
Slapped them.
There was a saying, I don't know if it was a book, but no, there was a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And there were two rules in the book, don't sweat the small stuff. First one was, don't sweat the small
And
stuff.
they're all small.
And the second one was, it's all small stuff.
Yeah.
In other words, some of the things that take paramount in our minds are very
Yeah.
small compared
Yeah.
to what we're really about. So now here, let's go back.
For the big thing.
Let's go back to the Pharisees in this camping trip or this excursion they were on. What would the Pharisees be worried about if they were a part of this trip at all? What would they be worried about?
Well, they weren't.
Rules.
They didn't.
Well, no, I'm,
If they
this
did
is
go.
hypothetical.
Okay, if they were.
What sort of things would they be worried about?
Their garments and,
The garbage, how they
Their
dress,
physical
All
things.
Yeah.
the physical,
The physical
Makes-
things.
provisions.
Who
The
else
things
was
they
there?
could be
What's
blamed
that?
for.
Who else was there?
Who else was there?
Nothing
Yeah,
on the Sabbath.
Proper,
Next thing
proper
Jesus
conduct in their
says.
mind.
Yeah. And when Jesus makes this comment about, wait a minute, let's step back a little bit. Do you remember the 5,000? Do you remember the 4,000? Do you remember the 7 baskets? Do you remember all? What's he saying by all that? Other than just the things that he said. He's saying something bigger.
They haven't learned yet.
That's right. He does say they haven't learned.
Trust. I think he's saying trust. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it when I get something right.
I do too. It makes me feel so
Because it
good.
does say you have little faith, you know, you have little faith, you're not.
Well, the thing is that sometimes, I'll give you a great, I don't know, I'll give you, as a friend of mine, Paul Hetz, my intern supervisor, used to say, when I would say, I have a great idea, he says, no, you have an idea, I'll tell you whether or not it's great.
Oh, but I
Wow.
I love that guy. But here's a thought. What ruins Christmas more than anything else?
Disappointment.
Expectations.
Food poisoning. Sorry.
Food poisoning.
There seems
No,
to-
that's not the right answer.
What ruins it for a lot of people?
Well, just caught up on the money thing with the.
Yeah, the money
you know,
thing.
they're just-
January,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll tell you what ruins, for me, what ruins Valentine's Day. Not my Valentine. It's that, to me, I remember I said this to Deb. Well, what did I call it the other day? I said this, happy Hallmark manufactured.
Oh,
Exactly what I said,
Valentine's
I said it was
Day.
made up by Hallmark and, yeah.
Yeah, it really has very
The
little.
florist.
It has very little to do with love. You're forgetting what the whole reason is about. Every day should be Valentine's Day, by the way. You know, you're ruining it. And the thing is that, and Jesus is saying, you guys, none of this stuff matters
Yeah.
Right.
compared to what we're out here doing.
Again, like the false doctrines, like their lack of trust, it's like the leaven is permeating, it starts small and then it permeates, and they make the little things a big thing. And he's just like, you know what, you don't need to make it a big thing, it's not a big thing. Minimize your fears and gain your
Yeah.
trust.
And let's get a little more, what's the leaven of the Pharisees?
False doctrines.
False type, false.
Grumpiness and, just being ticked off at the world, it feels like to me. They just put this
Well,
out
it's
there.
their control. They're losing their
Control is a nice
control,
one.
They
and
don't rise to the occasion.
Bad joke if ever it was.
and they're being minimized.
Oh, that's a good one. That's right.
You know, they're being
You-
minimized, they don't like it.
If I would say, the problem with them, I would say they put procedure over purpose.
Right.
Yes.
It's good, wasn't it? It was good.
It's
I saw
very
it.
good.
Thank you.
And now you picture every church fight you've ever been
It's always
in
procedure
any way.
over purpose.
It's always about that. Always.
Yeah.
Well, we get caught up in the laws of man instead of the laws of God. And,
Going through that
that's-
right now.
that's-
Yeah.
And it's, we all have, it's easy, that's where we go first.
And you know what sometimes do, Dan? We'll take the law of God and turn it into the law of man. The whole Sabbath thing was God's law was a gift. They turned it into a burden. I mean, he talks about it over and over again. He does that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it is, it
Don't
is.
say that.
I'm having fun, guys. Too much fun. How far does the next part go? Oh,
The
love-
20, 13 to
help
20.
me. Oh, where are we? 20?
Yeah.
Yes.
13.
Okay, somebody want to read 13 to 20.
Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I the Son of Man is? And they said, Some say John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. He said to them, But who do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered, You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered him, Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he sternly ordered the disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah.
There is a whole lot more than it seems right off the bat. First of all, where are they?
So we're at Philippi.
Yeah.
Dakota.
Okay, where is it? Say you're in the state of Oregon and you're thinking of either Portland, Eugene, or Salem as important places to be. Where are they? In the state of
They're
Oregon.
in Salem.
They're out mopping.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're in a place that doesn't really matter. Nobody's gonna hear what they say, nobody's gonna care what they say. They don't have an audience. And that's really important because Jesus is gonna do something right now. He's gonna ask for an assessment. And what his assessment is, okay, there's one of me, there's 12 of you, or maybe more, because they've probably got an entourage too. He says, I want to poll. What are people saying about me? Not what I think they're saying. What do you hear people saying about me? And then what do they say?
The rumors.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah. And what are the rumors?
That he's,
Prophets and John the
they
Baptist.
say that John the Baptist
Or-
or Elisha or the.
Elisha.
What do you know about
All
all?
prophets.
What do you know about prophets in general, and especially those other three people? What do you know about them?
Those prophets, John the Baptist and Elijah,
Yeah. What do you know about them personally?
they were, granted, I don't want to say power, but.
How about heavy hitters?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, that's probably a better answer. They were, yeah.
They're the big ones.
Great
They were the
prophet.
first string of their time.
The first three of the time. All of them except for Elijah ended up not, well, I don't know. Yeah, didn't end up with the best endings, Elijah got that sweet chariot ride home.
Yeah. that's-
We know.
Oh, God.
Sorry about that. That's the most forbidden thing I do in public. Sing.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. But yeah, but the thing is this, who is saying these things about it? It's not these guys. Who's saying these?
The crowd.
The crowds.
The press.
The press.
Nice.
The rumors. The what do you call that?
Facebook.
Coffee pot talk in the office. All the rumors. And Jesus, people sometimes, when they think people are politically oblivious, they're wrong. He's very aware of what's going on. I mean, John the Baptist died not too much before this, at least within a couple chapters. And this, let's go back to the very first thing in this chapter about the message. And not, be able to read the signs, And the thing is, one of the signs that I think that Jesus is reading is that this message I have is so important. You want to get it ruined? Cut it off too quick. And so he's not asking this, I don't think, and if I'm talking to you, Mike, tell me that. He's not asking this because he needs to hear it. He's asking this because they need to talk about it, to realize it, to be aware of it, eyes open, this sort of thing. It's kind of like, we put this in second gear now. And this is, we don't need to be doing this we don't need to be shouting fire in the middle of a crowded theater. We need to be out someplace to talk about this. I don't know, I mean, it strikes me like that. Any other thoughts on that?
I have a thought about Peter. Peter was given rich things from Jesus. On this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of Hades will not provide, and give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. I think that Peter then is also a very silly man. He has, anyway, I think he is every man.
So, and the difference between him and everybody else is what?
Yeah.
Well, he's hanging out on the things of the world, and Jesus wants to let go of that and let go of yourself.
What do you mean by things in the world?
Things of man, and not things.
Okay, let's get a little more specific.
The way his thoughts. I mean, just the way he's, that he has grown up. And,
Okay.
Just the way he's been used to doing things.
His faith is
It's hard
mature.
for him to change, and Jesus is really trying to shape him. And you kind of see the urgency from Jesus, because he knows his time is getting shorter and shorter. And he needs to have these guys, they need to have them focused about what they're going to carry on after he's gone.
Okay, the reason I push that is because what you said is absolutely right. He's looking at the world the way everybody else looks at the world.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
I started to breathe.
that's how everybody else is looking at the world. And it's what they were taught in, where did good Jewish kids go on Saturday mornings instead of confirmation?
Yeah.
And so I've been sitting here stewing, and I am still impacted by when you taught Rob Bell's book, What is the Bible? And was it his term or your term about the 30,000-foot view? Remember that?
No, I
remember.
this.
It's his term. It's in Rock Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess as I sit here, I said we read this earlier this morning, and I'm looking at this now and looking at the way that in my Bible it's broken up. You said you've got 5 and I've got 5, or, and it breaks up in 3. But I guess there's a 30,000-foot view of this thing that I think we want to be careful we don't get down in the weeds. Jesus is teaching his disciples a new way, and nobody has ever taught that before, because Jesus has never been there before. This is completely new. I mean, is it any wonder that they're slow to understand? This runs counter to everything that a good
They've been taught.
Jewish boy has ever been taught. And I guess there's a lot of other good stuff in here, but he gives this thing in the start about the Pharisees can't read the signs of the times, and then we've got this bit about forgot to take bread. I think it's just that simple. Somebody, 20 minutes after we leave the driveway, we remember what we forgot, kind of thing. And Jesus sees this as another opportunity, and he says, well, speaking of bread, speaking of bread.
Right, and what's that do when we leave and forget something? It taints the trip from the get-go.
Well, that's right.
And this is what's happening to them.
But
Keeps their eyes off mission.
no, Dan, they haven't seen the mission yet. He's still teaching them
teaching them,
what
yeah.
it is
Well,
at,
sure.
at this point. And, you know, men of little faith. If any of you have ever been in a choir, I don't mean church choir, I mean I did choir high school and college. High school in particular, I mean, 5 days a week we would go into the music group and we would learn pieces and we'd sing them over and over again, you know. And by the time it was time for fall concert the first week in November, we had it memorized. We weren't looking at a score anymore. We knew it so well. And yet still, right up to the day of the concert, the conductor could still pick out more things we needed to learn. Mm-hmm. Or we had missed something. Or, you know, there's always these points, well, okay, you did better. You still missed this. Let's back up to measure 17 and try this again. And I think Jesus is backing them up again. And then 13 through 20, all of a sudden Peter gets it. Mm-hmm. It's the moment when the song comes together. Mm-hmm. And
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
And even as I look at the rest of this, it's a gigantic task for Jesus to get these disciples. It's a gigantic task for Jesus to get us to understand there's a new way. Right? There's a new sheriff in town. There's going to be a resurrection that you ain't never seen before. The closest thing is Jonah. I don't know. That's what's going in my head.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you're right on track with a lot of this. Go back to that very big thing about the weather. Mm-hmm. This is a mundane, simple thing that everybody does, but you need to look at things differently. And all this chapter, he keeps unfolding them. These are bombshells.
Yeah.
They're not just the same sort of stuff he's been talking about. This is a bombshell, especially, you know. And then when he tells Peter, he does, contrary to what some people believe, I do not believe he's setting Peter to be the Pope. I really do believe he's talking about the confession of Peter. Peter has seen something that nobody else has seen before, and he still doesn't quite understand it, which he will prove in just a moment. But historically, there's somebody in the nation of Israel who was very similar to Peter. Abraham. Abraham saw God like people had not seen God before. Well, there's the Melchizedek argument we can go into. But I mean, it seems, as far as the people of Israel are concerned, you know, or the children of Abraham, he saw God differently than all his neighbors. That's why that great moment when he's going to sacrifice, you know, on the mountain, his son, and God says, "Stop it! I'm not that kind of God. I'm different." And Peter has just seen something that's different, but he doesn't understand it. Peter says, "All these people are talking about these heavy hitters. You gotta be the Messiah." Yeah. But what he doesn't understand yet is what it means to be the Messiah.
Well, again, they're clinging to themselves. I wrote some notes down this morning. And
They're human. Yeah.
You know, it's the world encourages self-pampering, whether we do it to ourselves or to people. But the Lord calls you to die yourself, let go, let your past die, and follow Christ by faith. And that's what, you know, it's like when you get lost, when you're on somewhere and get lost, you go back to where you weren't lost and start again. And that's kind of what I think he's kind of getting them back. You guys are straying off a little bit here. Focus on this. And,
Well, Jesus is thrilled. You can tell by his words that Peter has finally professed.
He's
Or he's getting there.
He's getting there.
I mean, yeah, he's getting
It's an
closer.
epiphany in a sense.
He gets a little slap to the back of the head coming up here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I really like it that Peter has it for a second, and then loses it a whole lot. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that guy. What are you talking about? You know. And I love that
Well,
because I get it for a
'Cause
second,
we all do it.
and
Well,
then I
sure.
become a complete fool.
I think
So
part of when he later on, when he denies
Yeah.
it 3 times before the rooster crows, I think that's a little bit of self-preservation because I'm afraid that he might be feared that if he gets labeled with that, that could happen to him. And so you don't get arrested. So
Well, certainly convicts him.
You know what I like? Is the readers of Matthew know Peter.
Yeah.
They know about his failures. They know his imperfection. They know all this stuff. They know that he's going to betray Jesus later on. They know it. And yet Jesus still says, you know, I don't think for one second they believe that Peter has now been anointed king. I don't think they believe it. You know, on this fallible, inhuman, which is a great contrast to the Pharisees, who believe that it's the perfect people that God, you know, rewards. And, you know, I think this is kind of,
well,
yeah, but her turn.
Wright, the author of this book, brings up an interesting point, that he looks at the Tibetan Buddhists
Oh, the Dalai Lama thing.
and the Dalai Lama but it puts a whole different spin on who is your leader, who is the divine one. Okay? And they kind of they have to find the next one.
Yeah.
So when the the Dalai Lama dies, a search is made for a boy. Has to be a boy. Born at the moment when a great leader dies. And that boy is taken away and brought up as a new leader.
And it's not even
So it takes all this kind of, are you, who is it?
Yeah.
They're all waiting, and who is it? Well, I'm not sure it's him, you know. And they kind of.
Yeah, I have to confess that the current Dalai Lama is impressive man, really impressive man. But the whole idea behind that is the thing called the transmigration of souls.
Yeah.
They believe that the soul of the previous Dalai Lama will now looks for a place to be born. Unfortunately, picks that instead of a cockroach. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's a, but there's something about it, and I couldn't quite figure out what his connection was there, because that isn't what happens with Peter. Peter is not, you know, and so it isn't just Peter. It's the things that it's the person. The Peter is. Yeah, I like N.T. Wright says, Peter looks like a rock right here. In a few minutes, he's going to look like shifting sands. You know,
right?
But I think he's comparing the Dalai Lama to Christ, right?
Yeah.
He's the chosen one. He's the one.
Chosen one.
And it takes off this kind of, well, I don't know, they still have to find it, make sure, how do they know it's the right one? I don't know, but, so it's a different mindset. In that the search for the Messiah, the golden one, the one who can solve all the problems, they, in a sense, it's kind of sort of fatalistic, I don't know, that way.
it simplifies things.
Yeah, sort of, yeah, but, no, it makes, in a sense, it's more calming than searching for this, you know.
Person born at the exact moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you pick a bad dolly? I know. Here's what I just want to spend a couple of minutes on it, because I think this is an incredible thing that we sometimes, the keys of the kingdom. It's just, oh no, that's a great thing. It's a great thing. That's something, the idea of concept of the keys can be misused, it can be abused, it can be marketed. You know, the keys to the kingdom. Is he saying you have the power to get somebody into heaven or to keep somebody out of heaven? Is that what he's saying? Or could he be saying something a little different?
You're talking about Christ.
Yeah, about the keys to the kingdom.
It's giving Peter.
Giving Peter, but if Peter is every man, like Nancy was talking about a little earlier, he's not just giving Peter the keys, he's giving every follower of Christ the keys to the kingdom.
The keys
Aren't they a responsibility? When you got the key, you can't lose it, you gotta take care of it.
Well, now, the key is never more important than what it opens or what it closes.
Is that where the binding and the loosing? come in?
Yeah. He's saying, I think he's saying that what you choose to lose or bind doesn't just affect you. It has implications that are far beyond this. For instance, every one of us probably at some point in our life we've been on one side of forgiveness. Either we needed it and didn't get it, or we needed to give it and didn't give it. And if we think that's just implication for us, that's not true. It goes far beyond us, far beyond us. And this is one of the things I love about the example of Peter, who is so human, so fallible, so I'm sermonizing, aren't I?
I don't know. There's no ugly look on my
But
face
the
here.
thing is, I think when we refuse to do what God would do, we jam up the works of heaven. We send how many bad pastors have screwed up their congregation because of their own frickin' ego?
Well, that's what
True.
happens.
All of
That's
us.
what happens
All of us, yeah, all of us have done
That's what
that.
happens when we insert ourselves instead of,
Yeah,
you know.
Nice.
The keys are a tool, and that tool will get you, and the tool is faith. That's your key. And I think Peter is, of course, part of me is swayed a little bit by watching the show Chosen. Peter's very strong. He's almost their leader, you know, basically.
oh yeah.
Because he's so strong-willed, but with strong will also comes, when he veers off, it takes a little more to bring back. And there's a little bit, and then, you know, that's why I think, you know, because he's kind of the leader, so as he leads the others to follow that.
Leave quietly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, and so, and he's just getting a little off path, and I think Jesus is doing his best to bring him back. Because it's like any strong animal or a strong person. When they are strong, it takes them, once they get in the right direction, boy,
But yeah, I'll tell you something I really like about The Chosen. As strong as Peter is, he gets called on the carpet all the time by his contemporaries.
sure.
He does not absolute power.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, which is true.
Which is us.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
I think it's really big though, that we have this moment, keys of the kingdom to Peter and all this, just before Jesus from that day on begins to teach them that he must die. I mean, that's what we're about to read. I mean, there's a reason this big moment happened just before, from then on he starts talking about how he must die.
The weather's going to change.
Yeah, things are shifting, and unless you hang on to this key, we're all in deep doggy doo-doo.
So to what Nancy said about the key being a sign of a responsibility.
Nice.
And you said, but the key is never more important than what it
Opens.
Loosens or
opens or
locks.
closes. Okay, so, I mean, what is the news here? The news is the treasure. The news is the thing being protected.
Yep.
And to your point, Pastor Patricia, that this is when things change.
Right.
And so what are we getting up to? We're getting up to the death of Jesus.
And resurrection.
And resurrection. Yeah, that's right. And I'm wondering if telling Peter, I give you the keys to the kingdom, is it saying that, back to responsibility,
Yep.
you have the responsibility to be unlocking the kingdom of God, to be declaring the good news, to helping others learn about me. Because this is right after he got. You got it. You got it, Peter. You figured out I'm the Messiah. Now you have the responsibility to unlock it for others.
For everyone else. Yeah.
What are the Jewish people, what's their belief about heaven at that time?
Many of them don't really think about it, you know?
Yeah.
They were like the Pharisees believed in an afterlife, the
Yes.
Sadducees did not. It was kind of one and done.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
It's not
That's why they were
a hard and
Sadducees.
fast Jewish.
Oh, my
That's-
goodness.
That's how I remember it, yeah, that's, yeah. Were you gonna say something, Patricia?
Oh, no, I love it's and even today, our Jewish brothers and sisters are not 100% agreed on what happens after you die.
No.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not very important to a lot of them, which
Well, they
is,
just don't believe
Interesting.
nothing happens.
they don't believe
Okay.
that he's that none of the First Testament, or Old Testament, or New Testament happened. Because a lot of them aren't allowed to read it.
Yeah.
That's just,
Here's an interesting thing. I think it's true. This sounds a little bit like a heretic, and I shouldn't, because that's true. I think Jesus says you really shouldn't be thinking two squats about heaven. You should be thinking about what it is to live like you were there right now, and how you treat the world. Let God take care of that.
Be here now.
Yeah, you're in yeah. Oh man, I tell you, we could talk for 2 hours.
Not
But
us.
we're not going to. What? I think we'll move on. Although I love it when a conversation is unfinished. You know, it's good. Somebody want to read to the end of the chapter?
From that time, Jesus began to make it clear to his disciples that he was destined to go to Jerusalem and suffer grievously at the hands of the elders and chief priests and scribes, to be put to death and to be raised up on the third day. Then, taking him aside, Peter started to remonstrate with him.
Oh, yeah.
Heaven preserve you, Lord, he said. This must never happen to you. He turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You're an obstacle in my path, because the way you think is not God's way, but man's." I'm just going to stop. That just goes to what you've been saying, Dan.
yeah, that's what I said, kind of, when I said that. You didn't get
Then
it yet.
Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone wants to be a follower of mine, let him renounce himself and take up his cross and follow me. For anyone who wants to save his life will lose it, but anyone who loses his life for my sake will find it. What then will a man gain if he wins the whole world and ruins his life? For what has a man to offer in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man is going to come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and when he does, he will reward each one according to his behavior. I tell you solemnly, there are some of those standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming with his kingdom."
Jesus has said something similar to that very last thing many times. This is the first time I think it could possibly be understood. When he says, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains a single grain. But if it dies, it brings forth and
Right.
produces a
You know,
hundredfold.
and on that, in my Bible, on verse 26, he says, "So for what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul?
Mhm.
Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul?"
Mhm.
I think in your version it said
It's
life.
of life, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jesus wants us to give the life that we know away and take up and follow him. Pick up our cross and follow him.
There's something here too about, there's, Jesus confronts fear so many times without even saying the word fear. And probably the biggest fear that any human being has ever had is losing their life.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and yet that fear itself stops us from doing the right thing over and over again. I was absolutely surprised when I realized that who said we have nothing to fear but fear ourselves. I thought it was Churchill. It was FDR. FDR had said that, and that's true. How many today? Zuckerberg is testifying before Congress about has Meta been using algorithms to get kids addicted to,
Absolutely.
and the thing is this, and you say, well, what's he got to be afraid of? He's worth $200 million. It's funny, when you build this empire, you're afraid of your empire cracking around you. I mean, fear of having a profit that's less than it should be drives people to do despicable things. That's what pharmaceutical companies do. That's what politicians do when they promise. I mean, people do so many things, more things, this is my cynical viewpoint, out of fear than they do out of courage.
Well, and as soon as they did those things, made those decisions, they basically sold their soul.
Could
They
be.
really did.
Yeah.
They really did.
Thank
But they also took a lot of other people with them.
They sold it to the world and not to God.
If you try to put yourself in the shoes of the apostles, and they hear, pick up your cross and follow me.
Yeah.
Good question.
Well, how do they overcome their own fear?
Faith.
If they could see, well, yeah, that's where I was going. But
Hang in there, Dan.
Go, go, go.
I got what to say.
Something, give him a stick to hold his teeth back.
so
Anyway,
what's your opinion of how do they overcome their fears?
Well, that's, and Patricia's brought that point up. This is just the beginning of the lesson. It's kind of like, I'm trying to learn to do Portuguese, and I'm having to learn some little rules about grammar and stuff like that. It's very difficult until those things finally cement how they work. Jesus has been teaching them fundamentals of what it means to be
Yes.
faithful, and they haven't even yet begun to grasp how those will all fit together. That's their life. That's all our lives. We don't arrive at a point where, oh, I got it all together. Oh, really? Peter? Even he later on wouldn't fall apart again. After Jesus, he would have those moments. Yeah, but what really killed me when you said that about cross, they don't even understand what the heck he's talking about when he says you're crossed. They know what the Romans do with the cross. They know that it's just a symbol, but they don't realize that when Jesus is talking about your cross compared to my cross, which you haven't even seen yet.
Any Jewish boy with half a brain would know how to avoid the cross.
Yeah.
You're not going to go there. But Bob, to your question, I think again it's important to look at the whole gospel message. Where were they on Easter evening?
Hiding.
Hiding behind locked doors because of
The
fear.
Fear.
So even then, they haven't put it all together. It takes.
seeing
It would
Jesus.
really be hard.
Yeah. Just put down your stick, yeah. Give him the conch.
Well, I think part of it is, I think we've all heard the term of blind trust or blind faith, and that's really what he wants them to have, is let go of the things that you think you see, and just take up your cross, take up your past, take up the sins of your past, and follow me.
Yeah.
And
I don't think they get that till they see Jesus after the resurrection.
Right. Well, true. Doubting Thomas. Let me touch your hands.
Yeah,
And they don't even get it totally then.
Then,
yeah.
No.
They get
What
I mean,
happened to a
Pentecost,
lot
Peter's
of the
sermon on
disciples,
Pentecost.
though?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
died
Horrible.
gruesome deaths.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
the cause.
They do,
Yes.
all
Yeah.
except for, John's the only one that goes through old age.
So he's telling them,
That's coming.
Get ready.
That's coming. Yeah, and doesn't he at some point say that the Holy Spirit will be with you to not fear?
Sure.
Yeah.
So that if you,
And I actually think the answer to your question is, what does Jesus do? He gives them each other. It really, the Holy Spirit, yeah, I love that part. But I really believe he gives us each other so that we can go, what the heck do you mean saying that?
Yeah.
And shake them up a little and make people lean on each other when the weakness is
That's a great point.
over us. Because it's over.
We all need that.
We all need each other, and then we drive each other crazy too. That's the other part of it. But truly, he wasn't off seeing 12 people individually for spiritual direction. He was making a team, and I think that's important.
Grab a cookie. Here's
Take Scott a cookie.
This is really good. It's an interesting thought that popped in my head, but the will of God is not determined by a vote.
Oh gosh.
Because if we're talking about people who are, we basically all are motivated by fear, and a lot of times, sometimes the vote is not right. My favorite Mark Twain quote. I love this one. When you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. In other words, because because people will vote for different reasons, which brings me around to what I think is really most important. And sometimes we have to be careful with the Bible itself. The Pharisees were ones who would use the written word, or the word that they had, and twist it and manipulate it and omit and include the things that work to their advantage. And Christians sometimes
You're talking about Washington?
Christians
Everywhere.
Christians will do the same thing with the scripture. And when we look at verses and
Gosh, there's something.
and call them all at the same level, we're wrong to do that.
Yeah.
Reactions.
You know, and when you're talking about the Spirit of God, you know, again, one of my favorite Luther quotes is the Spirit, even the Bible itself, without the Spirit of God, is just a dead letter. It's being misused. We have to be careful, and I think one of the things that's happening here is Jesus is turning their mind from the structure that says, you know, we are righteous because of who we're born to be, to saying we are people of God, and so are everybody else. There are things decisions we make to keep order. There are decisions we make sometimes when we think we're keeping order, they're foolish. There's all kinds of things, but the bottom line is our hearts and our conscience. They have to be.
If I could share the spirit.
No, I'm not in time. You're done. No, I'm just of course.
You got 3 minutes.
The Spirit visited me yesterday with some good news, and to deal with fear. In that I got a lab result. I'm working with prostate cancer,
All right.
and the lab report came in that my current PSA is 0.86.
Oh, wow.
So the Lupron's working. So it's, but it's again, it's kind of a journey, and
Nice.
to have the perspective of the spiritual presence helping you through that is really nice. So just share that with you.
And I want to share that the first part of 17 is about the Transfiguration,
Yeah.
which we are celebrating on Sunday.
Last Sunday.
We'll be
Last
on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Last Sunday was Transfiguration.
So I saw
Last
that,
Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're right on time,
It's right
aren't we?
there, yeah.
Which, by the way, I was absolutely impressed with Pastor Leah's transition from the video to talking about this is coming down off the mountain and where we're. That was really good. I'm not a real fan of videos instead of sermons, but I
Yeah,
thought you did a really good job.
those need to be
Yeah.
like 15 minutes.
They're hard.
Anyway,
You're welcome to see an infomercial.
any other thoughts?
Oh, I know.
Any other thoughts?
Well, on 28, verse 28,
First one.
that's basically a warning, isn't it?
I'll look
Yeah,
back here
yeah.
and find where it
What
was.
is it?
Truly I say
Surely
to-
I say to you, there are some standing here that will not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom, which is talking about Book of Revelations.
Yes.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Please correct me if I'm wrong, because that's the way I'm reading it.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's possible that there's another truth.
Well, please.
Okay, the thing is that, I tell you the truth, some are standing here, will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. What's that talking about? The end of time. It's the very last verse we read. What's it talking, or is it about what they're gonna see in a very short time when Jesus raises from the dead? If that isn't the coming of the Son of
Yes, that
God.
could be.
Or even the Transfiguration itself.
Yeah.
In the Transfiguration.
That's in my Bible, so that's Jen's.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
So
okay,
it's
I
not
was-
definitive about
Yeah.
what he's talking about.
That's
there.
true.
Yeah.
So,
And the coming is not the arrival, is it?
I saw that movie.
Oh, I saw that too. It was really kind of a strange movie.
I kind of took it as shape up or ship out. I mean,
No, yeah, and you know, the thing is, have you ever gone someplace where you just knew you were gonna get ripped apart, destroyed, and found compassion, kindness, and love? That happens with God a lot. And you know, and yeah. And I think sometimes when we overemphasize the scary part of it. We're missing the best part of it. I love this group. By the way, Patricia's gonna be with you guys next week. I'm not gonna be here.
Did you know where you
We'll
go?
talk about it.
I'm going to Frisco, Texas to see some Beaver baseball. I know, just terrible.
Is he taking it?
Yeah, right.
You better come back with results.
We'll come back with 3 wins.
Yes.
And no cold.
No, we've had this plan for quite a while. Yeah, and we've missed a couple, I missed a couple of them, I didn't want
We're
to.
good.
What's that though?
They are, so the Beavers are playing baseball.
Mhm.
Frisco, Texas, who's the?
Oh, it's a tournament. These
Oh,
are
These are
preseason
kind of
tournaments before the
preseason
league
warm-up
plays.
type thing.
And actually, the Beavers are an independent again this year, because they're really not a league.
Yeah.
Until next year when the Pac-12 starts up all over again. It was, wow, I tell you some great, okay, never mind, nobody else here about baseball. There was some great baseball this weekend. Patricia, could you close this?
Oh, sure.
You crossed your hands, I figured
Let's
well.
go to God in prayer. Precious Lord, thank you for gathering us together, for being our Savior, for being in our lives. Help us to lean on you as we attempt to minister in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Have some cookies, guys.
Yeah, good.
Take
You know,
them
I
in your
read it,
pockets.
I listened to, Bonnie and I listened to a great verse yesterday, and I just wanted to read it to everybody real quick. It's Ephesians 3:14.